Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you're ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful, beautiful peach? Today, we are going to be talking about how you can meal prep for the week in 60 minutes. And I want to say up front that I am not personally a eat the same thing every single day meal prep kind of person. So amazing if you are. My husband tends to be that way. I am personally just not. I need to eat something different every single day. Sometimes I will go through phases where I'm like really enjoying some certain meal, but I'll do little spices to it or spice it up a little bit here and there. But the point of today's episode is I really want to walk through what I personally do to make sure that I have meals prepped for the entire week within 60 minutes. Because if we're being totally honest, I do not have a lot of extra time on my hands. I know that you probably do not have a lot of time, extra time on your hands. So I like to make it easy in order for you to hit your macro goals. So let us dive on into this episode, how to meal prep for the week in 60 minutes. Meal prepping does not have to be boring. And if you have listened to any of my episodes, or I shouldn't say any of them, some of my episodes where I'm talking about eating just like chicken and rice and tilapia for breakfast when I was competing for a competition, you know that I like food and I like to enjoy food and I like to eat fun food. And I simply cannot eat chicken and rice for every meal every single day. Just not going to fly for me. It will push me to feel like I am trapped in a little box with food that does not make me excited. And for us to actually succeed with our goals and for us to move forward in that success of hitting our fat loss goals, our reverse diet and metabolism goals, our strength goals, it needs to be something that is sustainable, maintainable, educational, and enjoyable. And a huge piece here is enjoyable, okay? Food gets to be fun even if you are making it at home. And I actually start this off. So I do have a really big pro tip for flavor. This is something that I discovered back when I lived in Jacksonville, Florida. And I have recently moved, but we lived very close to St. Augustine, which is like the cutest little town. But they have a store called the Tea and Spice Exchange, which I have now discovered. It is more than just that store in St. Augustine, but they have absolutely amazing spices and salts and really just flavorful options that you can put on different food items to spice it up. So my big suggestion here is get some fun spices, get some fun salts. Don't overload it to where it's so incredibly salty or anything like that. Or, you do you. You don't have to listen to me. You can do the way that you want to go for those spices, but you can actually look up the Tea and Spice Exchange online and order from there. My favorites, there's one, we put them in little jars, so I can't actually remember what it is. I always just go back to what I've ordered before and I reorder it. But I want to say it's some sort of smoky, it's like a smoky sea salt. And it is so gosh darn good. So gosh darn good. So highly suggest. So that's a really big pro tip. You do not have to have bland food, okay? You can add the sauces, add the spices, add the things that are going to make it taste good to you, okay? I love adding salsa to things, hot sauce to things, fun flavored salts. Spice it up. I love cocoa aminos. I think that's a really, it's basically like soy sauce. Great flavor to add. So let's dive into how I actually meal prep for the week in 60 minutes without having to eat the same thing every single day. Okay. First and foremost, I normally start with, and when I say I, it is my husband and I. Sometimes he will do the meal prep. Sometimes I will do it. Sometimes we'll make the teamwork to make the dream work. But in all reality, I love to prep the food and I'm very organized. So it tends to be me more often than not. And I've got it down to sometimes even less than 60 minutes. So first and foremost, I do start with protein. And the way that we go about this is when we're at the grocery store, we think through, and this is a quick side note here, because I do recommend getting I do have a free guide for this that I will add into the show notes. But I highly suggest going into the grocery store with a game plan of what you are going to be meal prepping. That way, you know exactly what you need, exactly how you're going to cook it, really making the whole process very, very seamless. And it's very easy. It's not really we're going to have to sit down and find all these complex recipes and do this and that. It is so incredibly simple. I am sometimes a lazy meal, but tasty meal kind of gal. We love to make, fun recipes, but this meal prep is more of just for your go on a normal day. So how to meal prep for the week in 60 minutes is a downloadable guide. So I will also add this for you in the show notes just for your own easy access there. But what we like to do is we like to start with our protein. So say we have gone to the grocery store and we know that we are going to be making pork for the week, chicken for the week. We're going to do some panko crusted chicken specifically, and I'll get to that in a second. And then we're also going to make burgers. Okay. So we're going to do a variety of different proteins. So we have some options to go by. You do not need to do just 3 options. You can do more options. You can do less options. That's totally up to you. But we always start with cooking the protein and we know which proteins we're going to cook. So for example, for pork, a lot of times we will get pork that already is pre-flavored from the grocery store. If we don't do that, we'll just get plain pork. We'll add our seasonings to it. Sometimes you do need to look up a recipe, just for example, how much chicken broth. That doesn't sound right. Chicken stock? I don't know why that sounds so off. But for example, how much chicken stock you will need to add for a X amount of pork. Okay. So small things like that, but we will throw that pork into the crock pot. So easy. You set it, you have your recipe that's very, very simple there, telling you how long in the crock pot. It's good to go. It's doing its thing. It has its flavors. That's one of our favorite things to make because so gosh darn good. Okay. That took what? A whole maybe 5 minutes, even that? Not even 5 minutes, okay? Next, you're gonna put the chicken in the air fryer. And we love panko crusted chicken. That is a go-to for us. It does take an extra 5 minutes to, prep before actually putting it in the air fryer. But doing panko crusted chicken, that's hard to say, is such a good way to make chicken more tasty. It tastes like chicken fingers. And there are some recipes that, literally so incredibly simple. You're crushing things, you dip it in egg, and you are putting it straight into the air fryer. My only suggestion is that when you do go to reheat it, try and put it in the air fryer. I have discovered that just microwaving it won't taste quite as fresh chicken fingery as it would if you're doing it directly out of the air fryer. Okay. So that takes maybe a max of an extra 5 minutes. So we've got 5 minutes for the pork going in the crock pot, 5 minutes for the panko crusted chicken going in the air fryer. And that includes prepping the actual panko crusted part. Okay. And Then what did I say? I have it in my notes here. We're going to do burgers as well. You can either do ground beef, a ground turkey, whatever you would like. We normally get 93.7 lean for our ground beef and ground turkey. That's a personal preference. That's what fits well for our macros. And for this, you have two options here. So whether you want to do it as and just a reminder, we are now only 10 minutes into this, prepping for the week, okay? We've got delicious panko crusted chicken going on, and we've got some, I want to say it's like a chipotle sea salt that we have, but it's like a spicy chipotle pork going on as well, okay? Two very tasty things. Like, I'm excited to eat these things, okay? I want to interrupt this so lovely podcast episode of mine to let you know that BPM, my beautiful peach mastermind, is open for enrollment. BPM is my high-level group coaching program for women who want to reverse diet to heal their metabolism from that restrictive burnout so they can lose the weight and keep it off for good. It is for women who want to increase their energy and joy for life so they can chase after their kiddos, go out to eat with their significant other, and even have wine night with the girls without that restrict, binge, and food guilt cycle. As a bonus, all of my BPM clients get complimentary access to my reverse diet course, where you will learn exactly how to adjust macros for reverse dieting on your own. This quite literally includes my own personal spreadsheets that help you customize your reverse diet for your success. I even threw in my alcohol plug-and-play tracker for you ladies. Go ahead and apply through the link in the show notes or hop over to my Instagram and feel free to send me the DM BPM sneak peek for my inside look of the program details. I can't wait to see your application and enjoy the rest of the episode. Now we're going into the burger, there's two options with this. Yes, absolutely. So we buy ground turkey or ground beef, depending on what we're feeling for that week. There is quite literally no right or wrong answer for this. But what you're going to do is you're going to mix your ground turkey or ground beef with your spices. If you want to add anything fun in there, go for it. Sometimes you can add like fresh herbs, anything like that, like add it in. Feel free to look up like a burger recipe if you would like to. And you're going to mix that all up. So you have two options here. Number one, you can go ahead and make your actual burger patties. I personally weigh my meat before I am cooking it when I'm actually making the patty, just so they're all even. But when I'm actually putting it into my macros, I will weigh it after. I hope that made sense. And so you can make it into your actual burger patties, or the other option, if you're not wanting burgers, is you can literally just make it like your good old taco meat, because then you can put it into tacos down the road, and we'll get into that in a little bit, okay? So it's this part, like you have made the burgers and that probably takes you 5 minutes, and then you are putting them on the stove. So yes, you do have to, wash your burgers so they're not burning, but in the process of having those burgers cooking on the stove, or just like the ground meat that you're just cooking up, you can start in on the actual carb preparation, okay? Now, when we are going to the grocery store, almost always, we will have whole wheat buns, because I am a sucker for a good burger. I am such a sucker for a good burger. We will buy like fun cheese. Blue cheese burger, so good. Or a brie burger, bacon and blue cheese and brie, so incredibly good. So good. Anyway, my point being is we will almost always have whole wheat buns. We will get whole wheat tortillas. They have a bunch of different options for tortillas. I actually don't recommend the ones that are, I think it's like Carb Smart or something like that. They will have a larger amount of fiber, but a lot of times it can upset your stomach, just because, and I shouldn't say this, it will or will not. I've had clients who, they're like, hey, we found these, it's destroying my stomach, I'm bloated all the time. And then there's some people who are like, it doesn't bother me at all. So just be wary. Sometimes those like Carb Smart tortillas are not going to be the best for your tummy, but test it out and just be wary on that. So those are two go-tos that we always get, because it's so easy. If you want to get hard taco shells as well, like if you're like a hard taco person, that also opens up the opportunity to make tacos during the week. Okay. So let's add that in. So let's say we've got our soft tacos, our hard tacos, hard shell tacos, and we have our burger buns. So those are three things that literally need absolutely zero preparation. Like they're just there in the bag. Okay. We will, I love sandwiches. So this is not really any kind of meal prep. It's just more of like things that I love. We'll always buy deli meat. I love sourdough bread. I absolutely love sourdough bread. So I buy those. My poor husband, we just found out that he is celiac and we had no idea. He had all the symptoms. We just didn't know what it was. And we finally figured out it's celiac. So I get to eat a lot of the yummy things. And we have now swapped to celiac friendly options for him. But it is easy because it allows you to still have all of those things. You can make your sandwich. You can have all the taco shells, soft or hard. And then you also have your burger buns. Now, things that you actually do need to prep for your carbs. So incredibly simple. We always do rice. We personally like white rice. So we have a rice cooker. Literally dump your rice in the rice cooker. I saw this hack on TikTok and I'm not really sure if it's working or not. But apparently if you stick your finger, so you put your rice in the rice cooker and then you fill it with water and then you stick your finger in it, it's supposed to go to the, I don't know what that's technically called, but the water should be the first, part of your finger, to where the first line is. I literally have no idea what that's called on your hand. Look it up though, because I've done it a couple times and I'm like, that rice cooked absolutely perfectly. And then I've done it a couple times and I'm like, that doesn't cook very well. I did not do that right. But anyway, we throw our rice in our rice cooker, okay? You can throw your quinoa in there if you're a quinoa fan. Really anything that's just easy to go in the rice cooker that you now have prepped and ready to go, okay? So that I would say, it takes another 5 minutes. So just to remind you where we're at here, okay? We have our pork going in the crock pot, 5 minutes. We have our panko crusted chicken. Let's just gear on the higher end of that and just say that took 10 minutes, okay? So we're at 15 there. And then our burgers, really 5 minutes. That's so fast just to mix the meat, make the patties and put it on, okay? So that's at what? 5, 10, so that's 15 total. So we're at 20 minutes, right? And then for the rice, max 5 minutes, not even, it's a 60-second thing to pour the rice in the rice cooker and then add water. But because this example, I'm just going to say 5 minutes. So we're at what? I'm losing track. I think that's 25 minutes now. I need to write that down, but I don't have a pen right here. So we're at 25 minutes. Okay. So the rice is now doing its thing. We have everything else doing its thing. We are keeping our eye on the burger, the ground turkey, ground beef, whether you did it as a burger or you're doing it as mixed up to go into tacos. The last thing that you need to do is your vegetables. Okay. We want to get some veggies going on in, and I don't know why. I've never looked this up before. I have absolutely no idea why. I found, and I will add this as well to the show notes. I think I can add this. Anyway, I have a veggie dicer that literally, I hate's a very strong word. I very much dislike actually chopping vegetables. I don't like chopping vegetables, period, end of story. I don't like chopping things. And I found this electric vegetable chopper. I actually have two options for vegetable choppers. One that's electric. Sometimes it does make it a little bit more pureed, which sometimes we've done a cauliflower puree and not fully puree. I don't know. It was so good. My husband did it. I have no clue what he did, but it was great. But there's another one that's a little bit easier where it's not electric, but it takes what would maybe take 20 minutes of chopping. And it does it in 5 minutes, okay? So what I really love to do, I'm a hyper-organized person, but we have little organizers for our refrigerator. So we have, the way our refrigerator is set up, there's a drawer that pulls out, and then you have little boxes that we personally just do, and we can set them in there. So it's basically a small little Tupperware. And so we'll have all our different vegetables chopped up right inside there, so it's easy access. Tomatoes we don't chop up, we just get cherry tomatoes. But if I'm chopping cucumbers, I'm gonna put the cucumbers in their own little Tupperware, and that's gonna go right in the drawer. It's almost as if you're at Chipotle or something, and you have all of your different serving little things that you can scoop in there. It makes it so incredibly easy, and it's say max 10 minutes. Because you're going to have different options that you want to cut up and you're putting it in your Tupperware rather than 5 minutes, but it's so much quicker than it would take if you were trying to individually chop everything up. And then it's all chopped and ready to go. So when it comes to putting in some food item, you literally just scoop it and put it on in. So we love to do, Caitlen and I like different vegetables. So I love tomatoes. I absolutely love cucumbers. And there's this whole social media trend of eat the cucumber or something like that. And there's so many fun recipes and I'm not very into this because they're so good. So I'll chop my cucumbers. He likes to do, oh my gosh, I did not realize we have this too. I'm a crazy Amazon purchaser for slicers, dicers, all the thing. We also have an electric vegetable slicer. It is absolutely absurd how fast it goes and like it's perfect slices. So if you're slicing up zucchini and squash, that's something else that we like to do. And we will put those in the oven. So we will just take our sliced zucchini, sliced squash. We will literally lay it out on a sheet pan. That doesn't feel right. Words are not wording today, but like a sheet pan. Like a baking sheet. There we go. On a baking sheet, spray that sheet with Pam if you need to. And then we will put some seasoning over those and literally just cook it, right? So all of these things, they're just sitting there cooking and they're getting ready. And then what's really neat about this is at the end, and that, like, what was it? We said, give or take, let's say 15 minutes max for the vegetables, just because I'm overly organized with them and I like have them all in their separate little containers and they're good to go. And so that puts us at what? I think we said 20 minutes for everything else plus 15. That's 35 minutes, right? Like I'm saying in 60 minutes doing all this meal prep, and I'm technically the prep part of it is like 35 minutes, give or take. You know, everybody's going to be different with their time. And then there's the cook time, right? We're watching the burgers, et cetera, et cetera. When things come out of the crock pot, like when they're done, you have to put them in Tupperware. But what's super nice about this is you will then be able to literally grab the food that you want and make it into whatever you want. So say you wanted to do tacos, right? You are going to go grab, or I guess technically I said you could do burgers, but let's say that you decided to make your meat into like taco meat, okay? You grab your taco meat and put it in your hard shell or your soft shell, I don't know, your tortilla. If you're gonna do like a burrito, you grab your cheese, your salsa. We personally buy canned beans. I am a bean fanatic. They are such a good source of protein and so many good nutrients in there. I really enjoy beans. I think they taste great as well. I know I'm like so weird. I'm like, I love cucumbers. I love beans, but I like genuinely enjoy them and they make my body feel good. So we love the nutrients, but you can just literally dump all of it in there. It's like your own Chipotle, right? Like you literally are just dumping your goodies in there. You can even go a step farther and take your canned beans, or if you're like prepping them, you can make those in a crock pot as well if you want to. We just buy the low sodium or no sodium canned beans, and that works for us personally, to each their own. And you can literally even put it in a Tupperware. So when it comes to getting your little taco ready, you don't have to worry about opening that can. It's already opened. We also buy diced chilies, canned diced chilies. You can throw those in there. Really get creative. Like you can spice things up. A meal that we really, really, really love to do is our own stir fry. So that rice that we made, we will put it in a pan. We will add some cocoa aminos to it. We will add our protein of choice to it, actually. So whether you made the pork, and it depends on what seasonings you did do on like the pork, or like if it's panko crusted chicken, you could still do it, but it kind of removes like the chicken finger vibe for the panko crusted chicken. But really add your meats in there, and you can really truly make your own stir fry. Like add the vegetables that you've already pre-sliced and diced. So I guess technically, yes, you have to cook the stir fry, but if you are taking it to that level of wanting to like prep and have that in a Tupperware, you still have 30 minutes, 25 minutes while your burger's cooking. Go ahead. Oh, we can't actually because your rice isn't cooked yet. You can't because your food's not cooked yet. So I guess in that case, you couldn't actually make it there ahead of time. But the point of this is you have all of these things ready to go for you. So you have a quick and easy, get your food ready and you can go, and it makes life so easy. So that's how we personally meal prep without having to eat the same things every single day. I do have a full, entirely free guide for you that will help you navigate this, because I know it's one thing to like hear me talking at you and like trying to retain all of this than it is to like literally see a guide and be like, oh, cool, I see how to do this. Oh, cool, that makes it so much easier. So if you go down to the show notes, I will also try and make the URL. I don't know what the URL will be. It's not, right now it's literally in my Google Drive, but I will put it down below in the show notes for you, so you have that guide as an easy access to download and use. But I hope this helps. I really do. I really hope this helps because it's a game changer for me. I love to do it, and I hope that you get a lot of time saving out of it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, beautiful peach.